Hello, it's Lindsay from the Vintage Button. I junk journal and slow stitch. Today I'm slow stitching. I was going to do a wearable, but then I changed my mind because I decided the dress I was going to do the wearable, I was going to do some embellishment. It just doesn't, I just don't like it. So I thought I'm not going to work on something I don't like. So we're back to this bag that I'm making out of a pair of trousers, and I've got a sample page from like interior decorator where I've cut out a bird, and I've started to embellish the bird. I think I did this bit with a doily on a video, and then this bit's been done subsequently. And I've got some more wools out, and we're just going to sort of stitch paint. Sunday afternoon, the sun is shining. I don't know if I should be in the back garden. If I sit in the sun too long, yeah, it's not great for me. So I'm probably in the best place. I can see blue sky from my window that's just sort of next to me here. So that's nice. So I hope you're alright, and I wonder where you are. Are you in the garden? I don't know if you can watch videos in the garden, can you? Not very well. What are you doing this lovely Sunday afternoon? I hope it's something nice. I've done some washing. I'm gonna go back to work. I've had a week off because I've not been well. Back to work tomorrow, and I don't know what I feel about it. I'm basically like, I'm not 20. Perhaps 15 appointments behind, and 15 clients out of my client base that are sort of without an appointment. So I will be rebooking in lots of people tomorrow and seeing how that goes. I'm not quite sure really. But as I said yesterday, when I did my video yesterday, it was my haul from the shopping we did the previous weekend, which feels like 10 years ago. Oh, this wool is hard to pull through. Take it one thing at a time. So I've done some more washing. I did a bit of tidying up. I did a bit of tidying up of my shelves on the landing, ready for a bit of a tour. I need to tackle the big, there's like 2 bookshelves on my landing. And one of it, I've just started, and somebody started cutting something up outside. Yeah, I have 2 big library shelves on my landing, and they are just bully bookcases, and they're used to, I've had them for donkey's years. One of them's painted green, the other one's not, and they have housed all kinds of stuff. They've housed books, but they've housed all kinds of stuff. Before we bought this house, we kind of like lived in rented accommodation all my life as an adult, up until that point, up until moving in here, living in rented accommodation, and there was never really a lot of storage, so we used to use baskets and bookshelves and all kinds of things. So yeah, these bookcases have had their uses, and now we've got a couple of shelves that have got fabric on it. It used to just be one entire set of the shelves was haberdashery since I moved in here, kind of like fabric, sewing machine, those types of things. So one shelf has got out of there, I can see it as I'm looking here, so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shelves. So 2 out of that 5 shelves that was just haberdashery stuff is now junk journaling, kind of processed images that have been processed out of books basically, and they're all in little boxes that I've collected over the years and labelled. And then the other shelves, so that I've got the same amount of shelves, is full of, I think there might be the bottom shelf has just got ordinary books in. The rest are all books that I can use for junk journaling. So that's why I really don't need any more junk journaling books, but that shelf needs to have a good sort out. No, I tell a lie, the top shelf has not got junk journaling on. That's just got random crafty bits, hasn't it? Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3 shelves that are full of junk journal, but they're quite big shelves, and the books are laid down flat, they're not on upright, so they're quite packed. One of them I can see is really packed with books. So yeah, we need to have a little sort out, I feel. So I'm just going with my wool and I'm painting or just making marks with my wool, my bird, just to kind of give it a sort of more texture, more colour. Not really thinking that much about it. I've chosen some colours, I've loaded them up on the needles. I thought I'm going to get on, do some slow stitching, let this be the first slow stitch video after the cold. So I had a cold, like a head cold. I still can't breathe through my nose. Head colds are my weak spot, so I know some people if they get ill, it's always a tummy bug or it's head colds with me. And I had COVID in October. I've never been right since I had COVID. And I was just getting back to a place where I could feel a bit more human from like not being so tired all the time. I've got other chronic health conditions that do affect my energy. So yeah, I was just getting back to it. And then I got this cold. I don't know where we got it from. I think my teenager might have brought it back from college. So anyway, I just sort of realised, it was last weekend I started to get it. Kind of started feeling a bit off on Sunday, just really tired. And then I started off with it properly on Monday. And then it was a bank holiday, which is like a public holiday here. And so I thought, well, I'll just sort of ride it out and see how I am on Tuesday morning. And I didn't even sleep that Monday. So I went off sick, and then I went off sick again. And then I just thought, you know what? I wasn't getting any better. Like Thursday, I was marginally better. And I thought, I just need to just stop and not try and think, oh, I've got to go back to work and think about all the things that I had to do. And to rest and to get better. And I'm getting there. I just have to be careful, I think. Now, have we had enough blue down here? I might put some blue flecks up. Go there. I mean, if I'd thought about this before I chopped this bird up, I would have put it all in a hoop. Because there's a bit of puckerage. But I'm really not worried, actually. I don't think it'll matter. It might actually enhance it a little bit. Literally that noise from the garden all day today. Because I've been thinking, oh, if I start a video, they'll just start. And so I was looking over, and the people who were doing it in their garden, they were all sat down with a drink. And they haven't been doing it today. They haven't had that noise. And I thought, right, they've clearly decided, you know, it's Sunday. They're going to chill. But apparently not. Alright, I quite like that. So that's kind of like, it's kind of like a muckled breast bit. So I'm going to just knot it off. And then look at another colour. I have got like a couple of brownie colours, but I might only put them in at the last minute. There's still plenty on this, so I could go in and put some blue elsewhere. Want to do that? No, let's do another colour and then we can come back So I've got a purple and a pinky colour, but I think that pinky colour I've already used. Or is that different? Is that different? Oh, it's different. Okay, but I think I want to go for the purple. As far as videos, because I was thinking, like, I was just saying about how the clients, I'm really far back with the clients. Videos, I've got like flip throughs that I need to do. I've got a competition to do, like kind of a giveaway that was all meant to be done in May. I don't know. We'll get there. I'll do the flip through. I might do it after I've done this video, or I might wait until tomorrow and then launch it tomorrow. I'll see how I feel. Flip through videos are easier to do than like I mean, this is not a difficult video to do. I'm just chatting and stitching, but sometimes you kind of need to focus on what you're doing, and talking at the same time you wouldn't necessarily do. It's like, have you ever been to a craft group and there's not a lot of chatter because everybody's just focusing on what they're doing, but they kind of do it in company? It's that kind of thing. And I always feel like, see, I'm using ums. I always feel like I have to fill the silence when perhaps you don't really need to. I don't know. Let me know. What do you think? I mean, obviously there isn't silence here. There is the noise of stone being cut, because that's what that noise is. So, yeah. We'll just have to see. I think they're laying some sort of patio or something. They're it's next door but one or two, and they're very house proud. We're not particularly house proud. It's mostly because we were exhausted by the time we bought this house. So, like, we will on occasion weed the front garden. The front door needs painting. We will do all of that this summer. But we've not replaced, like, the windows need replacing in this house, and we haven't done that yet because it's thousands and thousands of pounds. And so we're in a terraced house, and some of the terraced houses, like my house, have got like a render on the front, and that's because basically when previous owners have like replaced windows, they haven't got the same size of windows. They've not replaced like for like, basically, and that meant that the brickwork was quite pretty, Edwardian. It's not as like fancy as Victorian brickwork, but the brickwork pattern basically would have been messed up a bit, so they just rendered the front. It was the 70s and 80s, and people didn't have a clue. I think some people did. I don't know. These are very working class houses, and I think perhaps I am working class, and the notion of having things that are brand new is always, it's like a moniker of how well you're doing, really, that you're not having to have the old stuff. So I'm just going to have a drink. I don't know. So I think probably at one point this house was nicer than the house that's 2 doors away, that's still got original sort of features. But this house doesn't anymore. It's got all of its original internal doors, bar the bathroom door, which would have been the scullery, like a wet kitchen. But we can always find, I don't think we'll have a problem finding and the door that it's got is just like a repo door, but I don't think we'll have a problem finding an original one if we wanted. I've always thought I'd like half glass. Yeah, sort of half glass, half, which I don't, it's like a bathroom, so I don't know. If it was upstairs I might feel a little bit better. I think it probably would be alright, actually, having it half glass. It's not like we always have a house full of people. We're quite ignorant like that, we don't. We very much like, I was in the position when we used to live in Cambridge, where the place I worked, a lot of people knew where I lived, and so like they would just come around unannounced. In fact, that's how working life has always been. And so you always kind of had to be semi-ready for company to arrive. Whereas it's not like that, blessedly so, here. Nobody really knows who we are. Lives are very much still in Cambridge. There's a few people, but I kind of keep where we live just for us. And I think that kind of came out of COVID, really. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It doesn't feel like a bad thing. I think it might be an adjustment. So I don't know if things need to adjust the other way, which I think probably that is what needs to happen. I don't know. Terribly English of us. Southern English, really. Up north, you just go in and out of one another's houses. Particularly if you're family. Like my brother and my sister live next door but one to one another in similar type of housing. So my sister's house is a detached house, but my brother lives in a terrace house that's similar to this. They're a bit bigger and they're Victorian, but the premise is the same. They're stuck together houses, and they sort of live next door but one to one another, and they do come in and out of each other's houses, which I always find quite amusing. And they know about who's doing what when I went up at Christmas. So they would comment. I would be in and out of each of their houses because I'm spending some time with one lot and some time with another lot. And they would always comment with, "Oh, Jen's come back from the shop," or Jen's going to the shop. That's like Neil and Sue were saying that, and then like Jen and Cozy might be like, "Oh, is Neil back from work?" Like they kind of know, they know where each other are, which is quite sweet. It's sweet because you're family. If you weren't family, I would not think it was sweet. Yeah, it's not like that down here. I don't even think my family is like that down here. But it is like that up north. I like that. I think I'm going to come back here and mix in some of this pink with some of this lilac. And then I'm going to try and mix some of it in there. I wonder if I got any more of that pink. I can always do it if I don't get to it today. So yeah, so we're just going to sit until I feel we've done enough. And that'll be okay. I was a really sweet lady, I think it's Nancy, was your name Nancy, who kind of commented by doing a shout out on our own little channel, which was really sweet, showing me her pincushions, this pincushion, and then a similar one to one that's got all the wools I'm using, that's in my basket. I've just dropped her that pincushion. Just pick my wool up off the floor. It was really lovely to see that. It made my day, actually. I wasn't, not feeling very well, feeling a bit sorry for myself. And then I got this lovely comment and this little shout out. It was just so lovely. So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing. I'm going to put that there. Am I going to hook this in? Yes, I think I am. Yeah, I just really enjoyed seeing it. It was lovely. And it was really lovely, like some of the things you said, that just, Nancy, about you watching and how you watching encourages you sort of to sew, was just really, really precious. So thank you. Made my day. Because that's why I'm doing this, really. It's kind of making those connections and encouraging people to kind of like get creative with the things that we have or the things that already exist, rather than like going and buying brand new stuffs. Right, I'm going to come down this way. I wonder if the purple's going to be the colour that brings things together. Am I going to go there? Okay, I am actually. Yeah. So like going back to the house, we are making plans. I just don't know when. We need to do the windows first, or at least the window at the front of the house. The window in here needs doing as well, really. But the window at the front of the house needs to be done. I'm going to buy some plants. I was going to do that this weekend, but then I thought I'm not going to push it. I'm not doing gardening. That would be daft. Bit of putting washing on the line, because we dry our washing outside, which is just lovely this time of year. Yeah, I thought that's a bit different from like gardening. But I want some lavender by the kind of gate. I might get some rosemary by the gate to be very practical magic. I don't know actually. On that other side, I could put a rosemary bush. It would be alright. Might do that. It needs a bit of landscaping doing. It needs some steps putting in, because you step up. There's like a mini stoop, and it needs to be it's quite steep. It's like it needs an extra step putting in, so that one of the steps is not so high. Yeah. Oh, it's quite nice blending these two walls and the doily. I don't want to obscure the doily too much. Thinking I might put one like a loop there, and then be careful about how I do it. I'll have a look in my buttons and find a button to do his eye. He's definitely a he, isn't he? So yeah, I want to come a little bit out there. I think it's going to look nice. Well, it's going to look different. So yeah, we need to do the windows. We need to do the kitchen. Worktops need changing. And I think initially, worktop and a nice sort of Belfast sink, like a butler sink, will make it feel quite cottagey in there. It's got like an extension. Like I said, this house had some extensive work done. I think it started in the 70s, just looking at some of the materials used to build it. So I think the initial extension to make the kitchen bigger was done in the 70s. And then I think it's been updated sort of 80s and 90s, because I think the kitchen is definitely, it feels early 90s, the kitchen. And that it's like the tiles and the worktop, nothing goes together. It's like, and this is probably what happened, it's like somebody went to a kitchen place and said, give me all your odds and ends, but nothing goes. So the worktops don't match the tiles, and they kind of match. I mean, the cupboards are quite neutral. They kind of match the cupboards, but they certainly don't match the tiles. They just look silly. I want to do a bit more here as well, I think. I got some big lines. This kind of painting with your stitching, there's no real technique to it. It's just, imagine if you had a marker and you were putting them, the lines on. This is why I like to junk journal and slow stitch, because I find they blend into one another beautifully, really. I'm just sort of embellishing it. And I want to leave some of the original. I don't want to completely cover it. So let's do that one there. Put the colours I've got. I've got like a very neutral fawny colour and a sort of terracotta colour. Don't know if I'm going to need them. Bit wary of having too many colours. It's quite a muted palette, but I don't want to go over the top. And then other things we need to do in the house is like everywhere needs painting, really. The lounge and the dining room and the landing does, certainly. We need new carpets in the... I think we could probably get away with the carpets up here. The ones coming up the stairs, I actually just would like to get rid of them. Because we don't wear shoes in the house, so there's not going to be a noise issue. Unlike they're outside. I don't know if that would be stressful for you to listen to, how much it'll get picked up or not. I guess when I play it back later, we'll see. I guess it's not incessant. The other day it was incessant, because I came up thinking I'll make a video and I ended up not making a video. Or did I make a very short one? That was the haul, yeah. I was going to make a more substantial video, and then I was like, no, let's just start with one thing at a time, and that was a haul. I've been doing really well at the charity shops lately. Surprisingly so, actually. The charity shop gods have been smiling. I like, there's little bits of gold, kind of like, not metallic gold, but sort of goldy yellow thread in, because that's what I used to attach it, as this colour, which is fawn. Yeah, that's quite nice. Do another one. Don't know how many more we'll need. There we go. So yeah, we're all right. No, really. Going back to work, be fine. Everybody's all right. Nobody's ill. We're all right. And it's nice that because I work from home, I work hybrid. I'm in the office on Wednesday this week instead of Thursday. But it is nice that that first day back is busy. I know, because I remember I was booked up. I was at that capacity caseload. So that means like all my slots are taken, really. So I know it's busy. But it'll be okay. I'll be able to get in there and book some new places, new people up, and book the original ones that had their appointments missing. It'll be alright. I'm going to come down here a little bit, and then I might blend that way. That feels helpful. So yeah. So I've done a lot of watching TV whilst I was ill. There wasn't really a lot. I couldn't really think about anything. It's that sort of cotton woolly head you get with a cold. And so I watched the 2004 or 2008 Pride and Prejudice. I've never seen it before, and I watched that. Did I watch that the week before? I actually talked about that. I can't remember, but certainly this week I watched the 1995 one, the BBC one, which is much closer to the book and just joyous. Like, got that wit and the pace of the book, because it's got like a real sort of pace to it when you read it. It's one of my favourite books for Pride and Prejudice. There's a bit of Lizzie Bennet in everybody. Even though we have to be Charlotte Lucases sometimes, don't we? Make pragmatic choices. Not in love. I must admit, not had to do that in love, but certainly in other things. Had to make very sort of, this is not really my dream, like this is not my dream house, but it was a house we could afford. In fact, the houses that we were looking at initially, or the house that made me look at the mortgage calculator and see how much we could get, was my dream house. It was a thatched cottage. It's a thatched cottage. I was on Rightmove. We were in the pandemic. Everybody's on Rightmove anyway, looking at housing and stuff. I still go on Rightmove. I go now looking at houses up north, to check on the property prices and where would we possibly live after we've either paid off the mortgage or most of the mortgage and accrued quite a lot of equity off, because that's the goal. It's not to owe any money, because we don't have any debt other than the mortgage. We learned that lesson in our 20s, not to owe people money. So yeah, I'm always on Rightmove. And the original plan when we were living in Cambridge, because we would never be able to afford to buy a house in Cambridge, the house we were living in, which was horrible house, so it wouldn't have reached quite these lofty prices, but it wouldn't have been far off. The houses were going for £600,000, and we were like, yeah, that's never going to happen. So it was pandemic, looking on Rightmove like you do, and I go to, well, alright then, Cambridge, what can I find? And there was this thatched cottage, and it had 4 bedrooms, but all of the bedrooms, there was no corridors. It needed like proper, like, redesigning. It had no corridors, and it had two staircases. It was amazing, and they wanted £210,000 for it. And I was like, whoa. Now, we'd been saving up for a buy-to-let mortgage, where you have to have 50% of the deposit for a buy-to-let mortgage, because we knew we couldn't buy in Cambridge. So we were like, well, all right then, we'll buy something up north, and eventually we'll either sell it, well, we'll rent it out, have that go towards paying the mortgage for it. Then we'll either sell it or we'll move up into it. That was kind of the idea. The big sort of having some sort of asset plan. Anyway, yeah, I wanted a long one there. I looked at this house and I thought we might be able to afford that. I kept looking at it, and then I went on a mortgage calculator, and we could actually realised, because of the amount of deposit we had, that we could afford more than that. So I was like, okay, then what work could I? So I started planning. We had school to consider, we had workplaces to consider. So where could we move to that had like either a train station or a good bus connection into Cambridge, or just offered things that would get us around, good road network and stuff like that, not too far away. So I was looking at villages, and I thought, I don't really want to live in a village. I want to live in a town. I'm very much a town person. So I was looking at all the different towns in the area and big villages. And then we came to this town, and I'd heard a few people had already moved from Cambridge to here. And I was like, oh, okay. I knew, because like my friend, her hairdresser had moved out here. There was just a few, the receptionist at Lily's old primary school had moved out here. There was like just a few people that weren't people I knew necessarily, but people that I knew of had moved from Cambridge to here. So I was like, okay, let's have a look here. So we looked around. I looked on Rightmove and I found a few places that were sort of comfortably within this range that we could have. And then there was another cottage that was like a flint cottage, really old, hundreds of years old, really quite beautiful, really close to the train station in the town that we're living in. And that was the house I had my heart set on. I was like, that's the house, that's it, that's beautiful. But then when we went to see it, I was still like, I think I want it. And I think had it not been, because it was tiny, this place, it would be alright as a holiday home, but you wouldn't really be able to live in it. But I'm like, I like watching tiny homes and all. We can make it work. And then it had a big front garden and then like a small back courtyard that had like little outhouses. So like one of the things on the list was a space for Miles to like tinker in. And I was like, well, it's got that, and you could even make like a little laundry room there. There was loads of things. It was really nice. It was just too small. But I was like thinking, well, we could get rid of this. We could get rid of that. It had an attic bedroom, we can put Lil up in the attic, and it had 3 bedrooms, and we could have the 2 bedrooms. They were so small that you would be able to sleep in one bedroom and then have the other one would be your wardrobe. It was like, be a nice big wardrobe, like a dressing room. But you wouldn't, the way they worked it was basically the parents were in the attic and the 2 children were in the like downstairs, in the kind of bedrooms. And I was like, oh, we could make it work. And I was mentally putting furniture into rooms, trying to work it out. And then we noticed somebody walking past the back door. And so I asked about that, why somebody just walked past the back door. And there was a right of way on each side of the cottage. So basically, even though it had a garden, there was like a right of way, like a public footpath. So you wouldn't be able to put fences down the side of your garden, like boundary fences. Like here, we've got boundary fences on each side of the garden. And on each side of the front garden, you wouldn't be able, the little walls of the front garden, you wouldn't be able to do that, and people would just be allowed to walk right past your window. And that was just no, straight away. It's like it kind of, all of the, because it had like this beautiful little wood stove, and it was very romantic. I was like, I could be living my best vintage dreams in this house. No. So after that, that's why we made like, we were both like, no. Okay. We went to look at another house, and that was, again, I was quite intrigued by this. This was straight out, like the entrance was straight out onto the street. But it was really pretty. It was an end of terraced house, so it was a bit bigger. The way it was laid out was quite nice, but it just didn't have any garden space at all. Really, it had like a little courtyard at the back, but not really any garden space. So that didn't work. I think Lily didn't even get out of the car. She was adamant, no, I don't like this one. And then we found their house. This house, which was listed. I remember looking at this house and discounting it because it was ugly inside, because it was very 1980s, and the person we bought it off was like an older gentleman, so like it, like it had granddad things in, but not cool granddad things in. So I was like, oh, I don't really want that house. That's not a nice house. I wanted a nice house. Yeah. then we came and looked at it a couple of times, and the price was reduced. And so we bought it, and we were really, I think the timing of it was perfect, because if we hadn't have bought it then, I don't know if we'd have even been able to afford to buy one, because everything sort of went to pot after that. Oh, this is slightly different purple. Is it slightly different purple? No, it's not. It's just because it's next to different colours. Yeah, so it kind of like the timing of it was just right. We got it just right. So then we bought this house. The rest is history, as they say. And there's me painting away. Let's have a little look and now. I wonder if I don't know if I want that dark colour. Just a really neutral colour for a bit of texture. Okay, I'm going to keep that in and not snip it out. And then we're going to go with this one, which has been, I love this, it's been like kind of taken from a garment that's been unravelled. So it's all crimpy. I've got some oh, that's Madeline's hair, and it's crimpy. So this stuff, there's not a lot of it. I'll mix it in with another colour. That's a dolly. I don't know if the dolly's the next thing we're going to do. I think we're going to do like a snippet kind of roll, like this kind of thing. I think that's what we're going to do next. I might even start that in the next video, but have a bit more involved than this, although I quite like that. I know some people, there's like, you know, like this, and it's like really over embellished, and I love it, but then when I'm doing it, I kind of just reach a point where I think, oh, that's done. So, and I don't think you should push it once you know, or you feel that, oh, that's done. So yeah. Anyway, so we're just gonna go in with this. In fact, am I gonna take that? I am gonna take that out. It's gonna annoy me. I'm not gonna do too many more. Ooh. Do I need to get my pliers? I've got some little purple pliers. I need to put some pockets in this, and then that will be done, actually. Thinking about that. Because my pliers are kept in there. So I've been, watching TV. I watched all over the place with a chat today. I could tell I'm out of practice and still a little bit cotton wool headed. I watched the Pride and Prejudice, and that was the first day, and it was nice because I just slept most of it, really. I kind of slept through it, and I would just sort of come in and out of sleep. It would be fine. You just put it on iPlayer and it would just carry on playing. So yeah, that was nice. And then I watched Sense and Sensibility, BBC one. I watched lots of documentaries. There was some that I was like, oh, that's made me think lots. There was a Louis Theroux one that made me think lots. And yeah, what else did I watch? I did watch YouTube, but I didn't really watch that much. documentaries. There's a case on YouTube of this. I watched lots of this woman. Well, no, I shouldn't laugh. I think I've talked about it before. That Laurie Vallow-Daybell. I do need more. I have this thing about cults, and so I heard about her through like the cult kind of YouTube things, and she did some horrible things to her family. But she murdered her ex-husband, and she was recently on trial for murdering her ex-husband. And there's other members of her family that I'm not going to talk about, and you know about it. If you know, you know. And she decided to defend herself. Oh my word. And I haven't really been catching up. I caught up on it last week. I think some people, well, you would have to not be kind of like all there, would you, to do the things that she did. But I've well, no, actually, yeah, I think she's got some sort of behavioural condition, because like, you know, like no concept of like how other people would view you, or social norms, just strange. Yeah, so I was watching that. Like I said, I just slept a lot. I would just sort of, once I kind of relaxed into it and decided I wasn't going to try and go back to work, because when I get like this sort of sinusy, I can't breathe. I panic when I can't breathe from my nose. It kind of like gets to be a bit of a panicky thing, and so I just decided, well, if I don't sleep at night, as long as I sleep at some point, I just let go of that. And that's what I did. I just sort of slept, did a lot of sleeping, and that was helpful. Yeah. But I am still a little bit snotty, which I will have to go in a little while because I need to blow my nose. I think I want, like, here. Do I want to take it down there? I don't know if I do. These are just little pliers from a jewellery making kit from like Hobbycraft. They're not, you know, like that specifically for sewing. I've not got a thimble on, so I don't want to be pushing it with my fingers. My fingers can't grip, so I just use that. It's a useful part of my slow stitch kit. So, here we go. Put one here. If you think about it, like, birds don't have the same colour feathers everywhere. And that's in some ways why I like the lines, so I don't know, it might nearly be there. We'll have to see. So we've got this here. I want it to go there. Where to next? think we might nearly be done, you know. I don't think I want that other colour in. We might be done for today, and then I'll have another think. That might be what it might be. And then we'll have a little quick chat about that, because there's a few pockets and things I want to put into it before that's finished. And then I've already thinking about my next one, because I've got a few purses and bags lined up, because I think they might get quite addictive to make, really. And then we've got the roll, because I've not done one of those in years. Oh, I did one at Christmas, didn't I? But that's different. That's Christmassy. Don't know what we're going to have for dinner. We have got stuff for another braai. That might be nice while the weather's nice. And then there's some chicken in the freezer I need to do. Okay, let's have a look. That's where we're up to. There's some nice texture. I think having a button, a black button in there would be really helpful. I don't know what I'm going to do about here, because I think what I might do is, if I think I do have, oh, let's see, excuse the crinkle crinkle, pull them out. Oh, they've been stapled together like that. Anyway, I might just sort of stitch a few bits and pieces, not completely again, but sort of down. I like that. I'll just do that in a thinner cotton, so that the legs are a bit weighty. And then we're going to overlap these branches, aren't we, with the applique stuff, and then that'll get stitched in very similar to what's already been done. They're sort of stitched in the same kind of way that I've stitched that there. I've just realised I've started my computer up, which is next to me, putting things on the keyboard. So this is the scissor keep. It's got my vintage scissors in, so it will hold these, definitely these tools. And then there's a little needle book that it could have. I still might put a bit of felt in between. That, the snips can go in there, and they do live happily. I did see another one of these when I was doing my sort out that I might swap it out for. I don't know. Might do, might not. So there's that. On the inside, now you can see all the workings. I'm not bothered about that at all. But what I was thinking is, I think I would like a pocket to sort of hold these scissors so that they're a bit more further up. So that would be a pocket here, and in denim, I think, just to be, so that there would be a pocket holding them there, and then another pocket here to hold them in place there, and then these would go in between. And then I should imagine it would get filled with other bits and pieces as well, because it's quite a big bag, really. So yeah, so I'm going to put some pockets on the inside. I'll have to get some more denim from somewhere, because I don't know if I've got enough. I've got any of that left. I have got some more jeans I can cut up. But yeah, so that's our bird. He's stitched with wool and love. But that's where he's at. He just needs an eye, I think, and then he might be ready to start eye and the feet. And then once he's in place, or pinned in place, that's when we can start building the picture with like these applique bits, because I think that's it, like running these types of things along the branches. That'll be nice. That'll be a nice bag. Be a nice bag to take out and about. Like going lavender picking soon. All those types of things. Nice bag to have. Nice big bag that you can put lots of bits and pieces in. Right, I'm going. I can feel my voice going. I'm going to have a drink and then I might do that flip through. Or I might think about it and do it tomorrow or later this evening. But if you're still here and still with me, well done. Thank you very much. If you could give the video a like, a comment, a share, all those little things to help my little channel grow, I would really appreciate it. And yeah, so it'll be next time, it will be junk journaling, where we will be doing this. So the giveaway is a junk journal giveaway, but I am thinking about doing one of these bags and having that as a slow stitch giveaway as the next one. But this is going to be the video. I'm going to do a flip through of this, and this will be the giveaway, because I've never actually given a completed junk journal away for the channel, so, and I very seldom give junk journals away, so yeah, that's the next one. Alright then everybody, been lovely talking to you, bye bye.